James Hood is an evangelist for the hung drum.
My wife would definitely know the difference between the day before I encountered the hung drum for the first time and the day after. It was like an epiphany. When I first held one that I owned, it was, yeah, you could use the word, evangelical.
The hung is a metal percussion instrument that looks like a flying saucer with dents. Invented in 2000 by Felix Rohner and Sabine Scherer, the creators call it a sound sculpture. They've stopped producing them, making the instrument very rare. James Hood has 3 of them. The hung sounds like it must come from someplace exotic, like Africa, India, or Bali.
It seems like a global instrument. Like, people kind of get a bit disappointed when I tell them it comes from Switzerland. You don't expect something so primordial.
Playing the hung is quite a departure for James Hood, who first came to renown as a drummer with the Pretenders.
I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you.
But he's best known for his Mood Swings project, which released 3 albums of expansive psychedelic electronica at the turn of the millennium. Compared to those endeavors, the hung seems like a very simple, almost primitive departure.
Firstly, I think it scratches the same itch. But what I've discovered, and to my great surprise, is that I think that this can reach the same places that all that effort.
But Hood had to make the effort to learn the instrument.
When I got a hung, I realized that my left arm was much stronger than my right arm, and that I had I'm a stick drummer. I've never been a hand drummer. So it was really seeing how I could imagine it being played, realizing that I hadn't got the ability to do that in any way, shape or form, and then setting out with a very specific intention to train myself to do what I could imagine I would do if I had the ability to do it. So we're talking about 3 years of playing at least 3 or 4 hours a day. When I was 16, I remember doing all the rudiments like the paradiddle and the 5-stroke roll and stuff like that, and it really felt like my life had come full circle, where I was back in this place where I had to just be a student.
Looking younger than his 52 years, with a shaggy head of brown hair, the English-born James Hood has the relaxed demeanor of someone who has adopted Southern California as their home. Sitting on the floor, cross-legged with the hung on his lap, Hood taps the instrument with his fingers, creating complicated rhythms.
I mean, this took about 1.5 years to be able to do this. So I'm using all 4 fingers. It's very tabla-like.
In certain respects, the hung is a simple instrument. You can't play a wrong note on it, although rhythmic deficiencies will be revealed. Hood isn't interested in playing tunes on it, though.
I don't want to play melodies. I don't want to play versions of... I saw someone playing a hung version of Paparazzi by Lady Gaga. To me, that is not interesting to me at all. I'm more interested in the free expression that it encourages. I just had a clear idea about how I wanted to be able to play it and the sound that I wanted to get out of it. And I've very single-minded and in a way one-track-mindedly just gone for that. It's never been so clear to me what I want to do with it.
The hung is capable of a wonderful array of overtones that can create phantom instruments and voices. It's an effect that minimalist composers Terry Riley and Lamont Young have exploited on the piano. James Hood gets it, overdubbing multiple hung lines.
There are some sounds on there that don't sound like the hung to me. There's a sound on Sonic Ashram, which is track 2 on CD1, that I still don't quite understand what it sounds. It almost sounds like a sort of a flugelhorn or something like that. It's got a sort of wah wah to it that anyway, I just went with it. Sometimes, I kid you not, there's one track where I was really like this. I even got someone in the room and said, "Can you hear that? Can you hear voices?" I mean, because I can hear voices. There's like angelic voices, am I going crazy? And then I would systematically mute and say I had 10 tracks going or something, and I'm hearing this wonderful swell of sort of angelic voices, and then I'll mute one track and it's just gone.
To record his double CD, Ceremony, James Hood trekked to Joshua Tree in a place called the Integratron.
The Integratron is in the Mojave Desert and just outside Joshua Tree National Park. It's a geodesic dome that is said to be one of the only acoustically pure sonic ashram. It's made entirely of wood, constructed without the use of one nail, and there's an apocryphal story about the person who made it, that he had a vision which he claimed was a Venusian, a man from Venus, was standing at the end of his bed. And he built this extraordinary building called the Integratron, which he believed you could use to regenerate your cells.
New Age alien visions aside, playing the hung can have a trance-inducing aspect.
Well, it has that effect on me. I mean, I'm not a meditator per se, but I think that if I had sort of electrodes attached to my head, after 6 minutes of one of those pieces I've just done, I'm not thinking at all, which I'm told is the point of meditation. I call it sort of stream of consciousness, where I try and bypass my mind, which, is very therapeutic.
James Hood promises that another Mood Swings album, the first in 12 years, is on the near horizon. But for the moment, he's lost in the world of the hum. His new album is a double CD called Ceremony. For Echoes, I'm John Diliberto. For more on this and other productions of Echoes, go to www.echoes.org. This feature was produced, written, and mixed by John Diliberto. This is a production of Echoes which holds all rights. Duplication, sale, broadcast, or distribution of this production in any fashion is strictly prohibited without the express consent of Echoes.